Hi, my friends. Welcome to the Diamond Painting Effect with Cori, and I am Cori. Today I'm doing another stitch with me, and it will be this May deer. It's called the Home of Love, and it's also in honor of Diamond Grandmas. Hashtag Show Me Your Flag 23. She is doing this with a co-host of V from Crafting with V. And this month she just wants to see your crafts that have something to do with where you are from and what things that you have in your life. And so I chose this cross stitch pattern because I do live near the coast. The island is a half-hour away, and it's a little bit further now that I live away out of Corpus, but Corpus Christi is right on the coast. And show me your flag. There's a flag flying right up here in the corner. And there's also all other kinds of flags flying around and some kites, and this is just what our seashore would look like with the sand dunes and the seagrasses growing, and it's a beautiful, comforting country seaside scene. So that's why I chose this for Show Me Your Flag 23. Thank you, Diamond Grandma, for doing this. I enjoy doing these projects. One of the things that has happened that I didn't tell you about was a couple of days ago, I did receive my fabric from 123 Stitch. And I can now look at the label and I can tell you that this is a half yard of 18 count, easy count, white and gray Ada. So I did snip a little tiny corner off the top. Hope I don't regret that. But this piece is bigger than I needed it to be. So I snipped a little corner off the top right here, as you can see. And I soaked it in water, and that gray line did disappear. So that was what I was worried about, because I know it said on the website that it would disappear. But it looks like a thread that's woven through there. So I wanted to test it and see. And that little bit, it did wash away. So this, I am about ready to start my Christmas teapots that Crafting with Orchid is going to be doing next month. I just need to get my floss drops ready, and I'll be ready to start this. According to my estimates, this will be about 13 by 12.5 inches. So it's almost square, but not quite. I'm sorry I bumped you guys. I've got all those flosses ready to put on drop cards. And I'm also going to be needing to do that for this project right here from May Deer. I can't remember what I've already told you about this. I got this in December from Amazon. It was $9.99. It is 11 a count, and it should be done with 3 strands of floss, but I will only do it with 2. I don't do my 11 count with 3 strands because I think it looks too bulky. This one has about 26 colors. It has backstitch, and it has some birch knots in it. And it really is, I really thought this would be a larger piece than it is. But it's narrow but long. It's 209 stitches wide and 89 stitches high which is, let's see if this will tell me in inches. It doesn't, but it's 58 centimeters by 27 centimeters. So, as I got my threads ready for today, I ran into an issue that you guys may want to watch out for if you get a Maydeer kit. They look very similar to a Joy Sunday kit. They're packaged the same. Their chart doesn't match their fabric printed, their stamped fabric. But it doesn't look quite the same as Joy Sundays do. But they had, you know, the trick where you can take your needle and you can pull out just one strand of thread. You can do one single strand or one group of 6 strand. Well, I did that and I ended up making a huge mess because, let me see if I can show you. These are folded in half and then put up on the thing. See, there's a loop here at the bottom. And so that little trick of pulling out one strand ended up making a huge mess for me. So you might want to check that before you start pulling your stitches. Another thing I'm not happy with about this card itself is it is quite small. They've scrunched. These are very close together and it makes it difficult to work with for my big fat fingers. So I will definitely be putting these on floss drops because I don't like dealing with it this way. So we'll get that out of the way. The color that I've chosen to color is this. I thought the heart would be fun to do for Valentine's Day. There are some other areas in here with that number. I don't know how far we'll get, but that's how I'm going to start stitching this today. I'm going to scrunch it up a little bit, see if I can make it a little bit softer. Some people just roll it and scrunch it, but honestly, I just do this. It kind of, when I do like this, it kind of, I think it loosens it up a little bit better. I really don't know what that does to the Aida cloth count and all that stuff, but that seems to work quicker and faster, is to just loosen the threads up like that. So, oh, I'm sorry, I've got a new arm here that I keep bumping it and whatnot. So, how are y'all doing? I am doing okay. Today's not as good a day as I have been having. I'm having a very mild migraine, but it's okay for me to work. I did talk to my son. He did make it out of that storm okay. He's I think he's in Iowa now, going back to Wyoming. I think Appleton is where he's kind of centered out of Wyoming. I'm sorry, I keep saying Wyoming, it's Wisconsin. And so he seems to be, that seems to be where it's kind of like headquartered. A lot of stuff happens there for him. Picking up, delivering, taking out. I don't know the ins and outs of it exactly, but he seems to always be ending up in Appleton. he that project is paying well, and it's been great. He's been able to catch up on he's had some rough time the past year, actually. It's been rough for him financially, and he was finally able to catch up on some bills, and he just was, Mom, it feels so good to take care of everything, and I'm so happy for him. The weather here is it's clear and sunny, but very windy. I don't know what the temperature is. My TV says it's 51, but that's Corpus temperature, I'm pretty sure, and so it's cooler here. But that wind, oh my goodness, it snaps at you. And I've had to go out several times already today. This morning is just, it seems like I get hectic. Things are really busy, but when you look back on it, what you accomplish, not much. I just can't believe it's already almost 3 o'clock and I'm finally able to just sit down and do some stitching. Every once in a while you may hear the wind blowing, as it kind of whistles on my window when it gets really, really, really bad. And it just sounds kind of funny. I didn't sleep hardly at all last night, and it was kind of funny. I thought, well, sometimes I post my videos and I don't ever really watch them. So I thought I'd watch one. I don't even know which one it was. It was either the one before yesterday's or yesterday's. It was the one where Persephone was meowing. And it was so funny because when I played that video, both of the cats were freaking out, like, where is that? They're like, where's that coming from? Who is it? What is it? It was so funny. I'm like, it's you guys. But they were looking, trying to figure out where that cat meow was coming from. This cross stitch is serged, this Bay Deer cross stitch. It is serged, and that's good. A lot of these haven't been. I was able to work on January month to month by the Stitching with the Housewives. I've gotten the A finished, the J and the A finished on that now. That was one that I really thought would go a lot quicker than it is. Part of it is I've gotten so lazy with this stamped cross stitch that I don't want to count. So I'll work on that for a while, and then when I get tired of the counting and I've come to a nice breaking spot, I'll flip back over to doing something else. Yesterday I made bow tie spaghetti. We had leftovers for lunch. We'll probably have leftovers again tonight. I did some errands for the Amish, and when I went over there today, and they're so sweet. They brought me out a container full of chicken livers, and I like liver. So I was quite appreciative of that. Liver is one way for me to get the folate that I'm having a hard time keeping my folate levels high. So that'll be good. Eat me some livers and that'll help. I will probably fix it like I do calf liver, although I might look it up and check it out, because I don't, the only way I've had chicken livers is fried. And the way I do my beef liver is I fry it with liver and onions, and then I put a can of mushroom soup over it. And that's pretty good eating, I think. And if I could do that with those chicken livers, I'd be happy to do that. We'll find out how different they are. The so I've been working on several of my cross stitches. I just I'll just grab one and work on it for a little while. Next time I sit down, I'll grab another one. So I've been working on the nativity. I've been working on the month to month. I've been working on the big beautiful girl. What else do I have over here? There's another one down there. I can't remember what that one is. I had to count how many I've got started. Did you hear that? That's my window. But I had a friend call me, and he wants to go spend the night at the beach. And I'm like, I've been there and I have done that, and I'm okay with going to the beach and coming home and sleeping in my bed. I am just so okay with that. I've spent many a night on the beach waiting for the night to be over so I can have daylight and see what's going on around me. I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm not really afraid of the ocean, but for some reason when you're laying there and you can hear the waves pounding on the shore, to me it's unsettling. Now during the day it's the most relaxing thing in the world. I love to just look out there and look out forever. But at night I just want to sleep in my bed where there's no sand and no crabs crawling up around me. I'm too old for that stuff. And he's like, oh, come on. Like, seriously. I don't want to do that. I can enjoy the beach and I can enjoy my bed when I'm done enjoying the beach. It's not that far away. But my sister is making plans. I have a sister that lives in Utah, and she's going to be home in May, and we're making plans. She wants to travel this summer. She's kind of making her itinerary and what she'd like to do. We are Squire Boone, who is the brother of Daniel Boone, is my great grandfather. There's some greats in there besides great, multiple greats in there, but he is my great 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 grandfather. And so Daniel Boone is my great 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 uncle. And there is a place called Squire Boone's Caverns in, I think it says northern Indiana. And we are hoping to go, we're thinking about going there on our way to Pennsylvania, which we will also be traveling with my brother and his wife. And I don't know what all he plans. We're going to be following them. This is kind of their trip, and we're going to tag along. I don't know what all he has plans, but he lived in Pennsylvania in his younger days, and so he wanted to take us and kind of go see the place again, go look at things. And so that'll be something exciting for us to do. I don't even know when it's going to happen. But, so there's actually some plans that I wasn't expecting to have. I travel at the mercy of others. So if somebody wants to bring me along, I'm happy to go. Except I don't sleep on the beach. That what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to wrap it up. I am so sorry. I was gonna chat for just a little bit and tell you a story, a cowboy story. If you want to keep listening, go ahead. I know I try to keep these around 20 minutes to 30 minutes for those Stitch with Me's. But I obviously I'm not going to do it. But I promised you the story, so I'm going to tack it in on the end. I will keep continuing stitching, and you can listen along if you would like. I'll probably just read it this time. That way maybe you won't hear as many ums coming from my ummy mouth, because that's what I seem to do. The word I do remember often is the word I'm never at a loss for finding that word. So anyway, I will continue stitching, and you can continue listening. And I warn you, I don't know how to control the volume on the voiceover, and that's how I'm going to be doing that. And so the voiceover will be louder than the rest of this video, so I'm giving you a heads up about that. I don't know how to change that. I don't know how to fix it. As near as I can tell, the app that I use to do my videos with does not allow me to control the volume on that. So here we go. We're going to keep on stitching. I'll probably need to get another thread. So hold on. Tablecloth. Outlaw. After the ranges were all claimed and fenced, the outlaws that escaped ropes and bullets were comparatively few. The story of one escaper should fill any lover of freedom with glee. His mother was a keen-horned, dun Spanish cow driven up from the south to the far-spread Shoe Sole Ranch bordering the Snake River in Idaho. Despite panthers and wolves that prowled the broken country she chose to range in, she always raised a calf, and she became a marked animal. One year, her calf, a bull, escaped the branding. She kept it in solitude, and when it was a yearling, she charged a man trying to throw her into the roundup and hooked his horse in the hip. But the yearling was branded and castrated. Upon being turned loose, he butted down one brander and sent the others tearing out. His mother smelled with solicitude the blood and the burned hair on his body, and as soon as she was let out, took him back to the tall timbers. He had a name now, Tablecloth, from his checkered blue, yellow, and white color. The next year he was not in the roundup. He still ranged alone with his mother. The pair seen occasionally, but by fleetness and constant alertness, and by taking cunning advantage of cedar stub roughs, they escaped roundup after roundup until the cow was no longer seen. In the prime of life now, Tablecloth kept in fine condition and kept his figure too. He often led other younger steers into the wilderness, but they would be cut off and rounded in while he vanished. When he was 10 years old, 3 punchers, with special orders to get Tablecloth, sighted him farther off from the canyon cedars than they had ever seen him. They hazed him, along with his little bunch, into a herd being trimmed for the market. Tablecloth became one among 2,000 grown steers bounding for the shipping pens. He walked up with the leaders. The first night of the trail, watchful guards observed that he remained standing while the other cattle bedded down. While the dipper swung around the North Star, one relief after the other circled the cattle. He roamed about, horning sleepers out of his way in a most domineering manner until the morning star began to pale. Perhaps he was accustomed to little sleep. He was full of the pride and energy of life. About the middle of the next night, storm clouds blew up and the herd arose on restless feet. All hands were called out. They prevented either a break or drift, but when daylight came, Tablecloth was gone. Tracks showed that he had left in a lope. The herd moved on. 2 years later, organized riders made a special hunt. One man sighted Tablecloth and fired his 6-shooter as a signal and fell in behind him up an open arroyo. The hoofs of both steer and horse were making a fine clatter, and maybe the puncher was gaining a little when he saw an enormous bear rise up on his hind legs just ahead of Tablecloth and investigate. Tablecloth never swerved an inch. He hit the bear, bowled him over, and tore on. He had to cross some open ground, and here 2 punchers twined him about at the same time. They snubbed him to a tree until the lead ox could be brought. Tablecloth tried his best to gore the yoke-mate, but he was necked up too close for horn action. After getting to the beef herd, he was kept necked. At night he made his life miserable for the gentle ox, constantly shifting around, never for a minute ceasing to look for a way to escape. In him the instinct for freedom seemed to be as strong as the instinct for breathing. But he was on his way to a packing plant, and the boss had promised treats to the whole outfit if they could shut the gates behind the outlaw and the shipping pens. They had traveled for 3 days with Tablecloth necked to the lead ox, and he was still secure. But on the night of the 3rd day he actually lay down like the other cattle and was apparently asleep, when in the silent darkness a coyote let out a sudden piercing yell at the edge of the herd. Instantly 2,000 big steers were pounding the ground. Riding to circle them, a puncher heard a moaning as if from an animal in great agony. He paused, and he saw Tablecloth standing on one side of a tree, and the lead ox down on the other, choking to death. He had no time for anything but to cut the necking rope from the gentle animal's throat. Tablecloth was long gone before the ox could get to his feet. The stampede was not serious enough to delay the herd's arrival at the shipping pens. Once more the cattle train pulled away from them without Tablecloth. 3 years went by, and the famous outlaw was still free. He had ridded himself of the necking rope, and he looked to be in the prime of condition. After returning from marketing the last fall shipment, the boss proposed that certain men take their Winchesters and bring in Tablecloth's hide and carcass. He thought he was offering an opportunity for big sport. He was surprised at the opposition that rolled up. Hadn't Tablecloth barely won life and liberty? For 15 years now, the shoe sole outfit had been after him, and he was still free. He was getting old. He had never really tried to kill a man. He had simply outplayed his opponents. He could not be called mean. Among his kind, he was rarer than a cowman at a debt, as outstanding as Bugger Red among riders of pitching horses. By God, he deserved to live along with the cedar breaks and canyons he loved so well. And the boss agreed. Tablecloth continued to enjoy his liberty for several more years, and then, like his mother, he was no longer seen. No man ever came across him or his skull. Thank you for joining me for the diamond painting effect with Cori. Take care so I can see you again in the next one.